Imagine two juggernaut economies hurtling toward a future that could redefine global dynamics. One stands on the brink of a technological golden age, while the other's teetering amid structural challenges. Yes, we're diving into the captivating saga of the United States and China's economic battle. Let's start with China. This economic powerhouse is racing ahead in the tech sector. Their investment in AI and 5G infrastructure has skyrocketed, aiming to surpass all competition. But beneath this glossy surface, issues like mounting debt and demographic shifts lurk. With an aging population and shrinking workforce, could these elements undermine their ambitions for global dominance? On the flip side, we have the United States, robust, yet riddled with its own hurdles. While boasting a history of innovation and established financial markets, it grapples with political polarization that threatens economic policymaking. The tech talent is unmatched, but so is the challenge of income inequality and debt. How will these elements interplay in maintaining America's leadership on the world stage? These opposing trajectories spotlight a fascinating economic face-off. Stay tuned as we explore what the future holds for each of these contenders and the possible global ripple effects their fortunes, or missteps, might unleash. Now, as we look deeper into China's economic equation, there's an essential factor at play: innovation. With initiatives like the Belt and Road, China is creating a web of new trade relations. But the question is, how sustainable is this strategy if their consumer debt keeps rising? A slowing GDP and increased state intervention might just dampen the pace of progress. Analysts warn that China's growth miracle isn't guaranteed to last forever, especially if innovation isn't backed by robust economic freedoms. Switching focus to the United States, let's delve into the realm of innovation and adaptability. Here, the private sector thrives on a culture of disruption, a double-edged sword. Companies like Apple and Tesla aren't just icons, they're symbols of economic vitality. However, the warning bells of income inequality grow louder every day. When the wealth gap widens, consumer spending, which is critical for economic growth, can wane, potentially slowing down the entire momentum driven by these tech giants. As these economic titans race to outmaneuver each other, one cannot ignore the impact of geopolitics. Trade wars, tariffs, and tech bans are not merely headlines. They shape the strategic decisions in boardrooms across both countries. How these nations manage external pressures could either amplify their strengths or expose their Achilles heels. Don't miss out as we delve even further into the stakes and strategies that could redefine the future we all share. Geopolitics introduces another layer of complexity into this rivalry, particularly in the tech sector. Restrictions on tech exports and data regulations are reshaping how businesses operate across borders. For China, these constraints have catalyzed a push towards self-reliance in core technologies. It's a bold pivot, but one that carries risks if domestic innovation can't keep pace with global standards. The question arises, can China ascend as a tech leader without relying on Western advancements? Meanwhile, the U.S. grapples with crafting strategies that safeguard intellectual property while maintaining open markets. The stakes are high, given how central tech innovation is to economic resilience. Every tariff imposed or sanction enacted not only affects trade, but could alter global supply chains, impacting everything from smartphone production to electric vehicles. The interplay of these policies with the market could indeed steer the direction of future economic triumphs or challenges. As both giants navigate these turbulent waters, the global economy watches closely. The implications of their policies ripple outwards, affecting global stock markets, manufacturing jobs, and international relations. The outcomes of their strategies will shape not only their own futures, but influence the economic prospects of nations worldwide. Stay with us as we continue to unpack this intricate balance of power and foresight. Amidst the technological tug-of-war, there's another crucial dynamic at play: environmental sustainability. Both the US and China face mounting pressure to balance economic growth with carbon reduction. For China, the challenge is particularly daunting. Being both the world's largest carbon emitter and a leader in renewable energy investments. Their ambitious pledge to achieve carbon neutrality by 2060 has the potential to rewrite industrial standards, but requires a mammoth overhaul of existing infrastructure and policies. In the US, despite political divides, there's significant momentum toward clean energy. States like California and Texas are leading the charge with wind and solar power advances, while federal initiatives aim to accelerate this transition. Yet the path is fraught with challenges, including fossil fuel lobbies and fluctuating policy priorities. Will the US be able to maintain its responsibility as an environmental leader while fostering innovation in sustainable technologies? As these nations chart their courses, global alliances and environmental agreements become ever more crucial. The stakes are immense, not just for economic prowess, but for the environmental legacy they leave behind. What they decide and how they act hold profound implications for climate goals worldwide. So, as we explore this unfolding narrative, remember, the resolution of this environmental quandary is as critical as any technological or economic rivalry. Let's shift our focus to the social dimensions that will inevitably influence these economic pathways. In China, the burgeoning middle class bears both hope and challenge. On one hand, it fuels consumer-driven growth, providing a crucial bedrock for economic stability. On the other, this rising class demands higher living standards and more transparency, pointing to potential social upheavals if economic promises fall short. Social stability, therefore, is not just a domestic issue, but a global one, affecting trade relationships and international investments. Turning to the United States, the social context is equally pivotal. The growing diversity within the workforce presents massive potential for innovation and cultural enrichment. However, systemic issues like racial inequality and educational disparities pose significant hurdles. Addressing these challenges isn't just a moral imperative, it's an economic one, crucial for harnessing the full potential of America's human capital in the race against global counterparts. In the end, these socio-economic factors are deeply intertwined with the political and economic strategies of both nations. As these social currents shift and evolve, they will either bolster or hinder each nation's ability to realize its economic ambitions. We're witnessing a multifaceted race where economic plans, social contracts, and environmental strategies collide, shaping a future that transcends borders and truly impacts us all. Keep watching as the story unfolds, bringing new insights and shifts in this ongoing global narrative. As we wrap up, it's clear that the economic trajectories of China and the United States are more intertwined and complex than ever. From tech innovations and environmental commitments to the vital social dynamics at play, these two giants are shaping not just their futures, but the world's. Each decision made has ripple effects, affecting global markets, international cooperation, and our collective environmental sustainability. If you want to stay ahead of the curve and understand these global shifts, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Your engagement helps us bring you the latest insights and keep this conversation going. Thanks for watching, and let's navigate these exciting times together.